Hello. So, as part of the group task by the Authentity team, so we have decided to discuss on the topic of the success and the fallouts that has happened during the 7 years of Modi. So, I'm Sriram Vigneshwar, and I believe that Modi's government has had a bit of both success and failures. They have had a very brutal majority in this whole 7 years, and with this majority, they have taken several bold steps, like introducing CAA and like abolishing the 370 section of the Kashmir. So these are all some of the successes owing to the majority, and I also believe that they have had their own share of failures due to this. So can anybody?
Yes, very well said, Sriram. I was just listening to you and I realized that you mentioned J&K. I think it is a very controversial thing to just assume that it is a success of them. It can be also a failure because we don't know what people of J&K want actually. Maybe they want to be freed and maybe they do not want to be freed and to be a UT forever. So if that could count as failure, and many more things like demonetization, especially if you're talking about, it had put a massive havoc in all our lives when started. So I think I'll rather focus on fallouts because we can see the impacts now. Anyone else would like to add into it?
Yeah, even I would like to add on to Shruti. Whereas, yes, Shruti, I do agree with you. Here, the problem is demonetization as well as the spreading of hatred, which Modi government did in JK. Actually, all they portrayed it like they just separated Hindu and Muslim. There is no integrity, there is no harmony. The people are, and rape cases are also increased during the because of this political party, and there is no women's safety. India is ranked as a worst country in terms of women's safety, whereas I feel like Modi government should have taken some responsibility of this also. Whereas talking about the Jammu Kashmir, the people are not happy over there, and all they did is nothing but they spread Hindu and Muslim. There is no harmony. And third point is demonetization. Because of demonetization, the major part, that is MSME of our economy, which is nothing but the foundation of our India, that got shooed away because of demonetization. So I feel like it's having a major fallout. And
adding to Diksha's means contradicting to the Diksha's and Shruti's point, talking about the J&K, I think the two terrorist attacks that were been performed by the terrorist group, where first was the Uri in the 2016 and the second one being the Pulwama in the 2019. I think these both were most of the havoc which we have seen in the past couple of years. But I think the Modi government has taken several serious steps to give them a right lesson. Okay, now India is not going to step back or not going to be feeling pressurized because of the global level positions in the market. So I think these were the steps which helped the Modi government build a good image, because which was been needed from a last couple of years. We had to take certain steps against these terrorist attacks and the groups. And second point I would like to add is that there have been the COVID pandemic has recently helped Made in India project that was launched by Modi government in 2014 or 15. I think pandemic helped that grow has build more industries in the India, and I think the Microsoft, Micromax companies like coming back into the market, having their own manufacturing units in India, Apple having their own manufacturers in India, Tesla coming to the India. So these are the big giant firms which are investing in India, and I think for many economists, even Raghuram Rajan or the Rakesh Junjunwala, the stock market, they all are saying next 5-6 years the Indian economy is going to be boosted up, and I think this is the point from where India cannot look back at any given point of time. So, any views on this?
I agree with Dipen. As I would like to counter Shruti and Diksha that every government and every policy has its pros and cons. We cannot consider a government bad if it has cons. Okay. And I agree with Dipen that Modi government has brought several policies which are benefiting India. For example, Made in India policy, as Dipen mentioned. GST, which was even appreciated by the opposition party as well. So the GST has brought the unorganized sector to also be accounted for it. So I would say that we should focus on the pros rather than, obviously we should counter the government. It is important for an opposition, but I would like to.
Very well explained,
But,
Tanya. Yes, Diksha, you may go.
Okay. But don't you think during this situation, the media, the major part of the media, which is actually totally governed by the Modi. So if we are speaking something against, there is no freedom of speech left right now. If we speak anything against them, against the government, like there are certain things like whatever we have seen, this humanity which had happened with the farmers, many farmers suicided, many people are unemployed, and due to that they're suiciding, and people are dying because of the starvation, and many migrants during the COVID because of the decision was not proper, nothing was planned, and because of that, who suffered? We only suffered, right? There was no proper
So-
communication, nothing. But again, media was just controlled by the Modi government, and it always portrayed the good side of it. And so that's what I want to say. There is no freedom of speech right now.
So Diksha, I want to pose your point of view. So the pandemic is one of a kind event in the whole of 100 years. So no government had an idea, and India being a very big democratic country with a very massive and dynamic population, it is very hard for us to make sure that all the people were their needs were got addressed. But we eventually learned. So we understood that these several sectors of people who were affected very badly. And Modi government, I believe, has given the ration subsidy scheme and several other monetary policy schemes to improve their policy. So I would say that every government, so it is a new event for them, and I wouldn't entirely blame the Modi government for the fallouts. So of course they have had several events like the vaccine shortage and the second wave, which had a very big impact on people. But they have eventually understood, they have become more aware, and they have taken their steps by investing for ramping up our infrastructure. So that's what I want.
Sriram, yes, Sriram, I understood what you're saying, but I would like to bring the focus back onto the successes and fallouts particularly. As Deepen said, the MSMEs and job inclination and growth of the GDP, how will it happen if our farmers are not living up to it? How will it happen if our farmers are not getting what they want, and if they cannot sell their products or their crops at the price they actually want? It won't work. The privatization is not allowing farmers to help to grow. So our India being a agricultural focused country, the major portion is not getting benefited with these policies. So, and also talking about jobs, they do not have many jobs in India. There are so many youth, well educated, done with their post graduations, still unemployed because they cannot find jobs, and the jobs they want are not enough for them. While COVID second wave, there were people who were working out with full MBA degree for Manrega for getting 100 rupees per day, and they had their MBA degrees with them. How will you explain that?
So Shruti, just adding, talking to your point or giving you some lights on this. See what Sriram mentioned. I think this pandemic was new to all the world. No one was ready. No government was ready. Italy being the #1 in the health index, and India being ranked 140 plus. I think if Italy can suffer, then India was definitely going to suffer from the backdrop, because it is a densely populated country, 138 crore population. You can't just get quick of it. And adding to it, Manrega, what you said, unemployment. Sometimes unemployment came because of the job of the companies which were backlashing their jobs. Now, what can a government can doing? If a government can just hold on to a particular organization, can tell them, okay, you hold on these people, you can't just fire them, because it's up to an organization. Because organization has to all make a revenue or the profit out of it. If they're not generating, they need to take some stick. Now, a government cannot interrupt into a particular industry and say that, okay, if you are even going with a loss, you have to handle, you need to take the people, you can't fire them. So I think government can just implement the policies, but policies are taken by the organization in their perspective, and the organization has to look about the unemployment and the employment rate.